This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma, updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. I've had a bit of a snafu with the audio this week, so congratulations, you can treat yourself to this DJ set as well as your horoscope. All music that I'm using I found over at the freemusicarchive.org, so do check them out if you're looking for some high quality Creative Commons licensed music. Tips are always welcome at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby, but other than that, let's get into it. Hello Cancer and Cancer Rising, welcome to your horoscope for the full moon in Capricorn, happening on July the 14th at 4:37 a.m. if you're in the southern hemisphere with me. So that means that the evening of the 13th would be a beautiful time to actively commune and to ritualize. You can also do it on the evening of the 14th because it will still be quite big. We're working with a supermoon here. So on the ellipse of the moon's journey around Earth, there's a point where it's furthest away and a point where it's closest by, and this is the sweet spot. This is close by the Earth, so she's going to be a really big fat moon, really large and bright, and we're going to really feel physically the effects of her energy, and it couldn't be happening at a better time. It really couldn't. This moon is in conjunction with Pluto. This doesn't happen very often. To have a full moon conjunct Pluto is a rare gift, and it's a real invitation to be born again in a lot of ways. There's been destruction here, and we're working with the energy of after a bushfire. Blackness, and then the green undergrowth, the juicy, regenerative space of life and possibility. That's what Pluto brings to us. Pluto in mythology is another word for Hades. So the Greeks had Hades, the Romans invaded and colonized and renamed the pantheon and called Hades Pluto, and also named the planets. You know, the zodiac was sort of born out of the Roman Empire, so the astrologers / astronomers of the time named Mercury, Mars, Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, all of the visible planets. In flash forward to 1930, Pluto was discovered with the technology of a telescope, and astrology had been wiped out as a frame of logical reference, but astronomers still use the tradition of naming the planets after their mythology. So they named Pluto, so far away, because of the God story of Pluto, Hades, the lord of the underworld. So when we think about bringing that back to astrological language, Pluto represents to us that moment of shamanic retribution, of complete dissolution and then rebirth, a phoenix rising out of the ashes. It can be a sticky time, and if you're a Cancer, so you're a cardinal sign, which means like a jettisoning off point. And the transit of Pluto has been affecting the cardinal signs since 2008. Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008, and the effect of Pluto and its interactions with other planets, and sometimes its interactions with our natal chart placements, can be really profound. I'll explain it to you quickly, but I am on the upswell from a complete meltdown. Pluto transited my sun placement. I'm a Capricorn sun at 24 degrees. That happened in February of 2020. And I went through a complete dissolution of identity, of who it was that I thought I was rapidly leaving me, losing me. I was sinking. I didn't know what life meant anymore. My identity, as I knew it, my ego, in a lot of ways, went through a complete evaporation process. And through healing, through access to help and therapy and astrology, I was told and I learned of the effects of Pluto in this way. So my experience with Pluto's energy is quite personal. To have a full moon in conjunction with this energy goes to emphasize just how profound we may feel, and how profound the shifts may become for us at this lunation. And in a really positive, beautiful, regenerative way for you, Cancer, this is happening in your 7th house of your most intimate relationships, your VIPs. Who do you consider in life to be your soul contracts? Who are the people that you will roll with forever? Who are your lovers and your intimate ones? Let's use this full moon to let go of any shame or guilt or sorrow from this space. I forgot to tip my sand. You get an extra 5 minutes, Cancer. Sorry, I just noticed. I was on a roll too. Anyway, you get to, at this full moon, Cancer, relinquish any heartache that you may be feeling towards your most intimate bonds, your intimate relationships, the guilt or suffering that you may have been experiencing. Also, this Plutonian energy of shift that has been happening, not just because of your solo experience, but because of the macro. You know, this is Pluto's transit through Capricorn is happening for a reason. Your intimate bonds since 2008, and maybe up to this point, have been going through turbulence and changes and rerouting and regeneration for a higher purpose. So in this way, this knowledge that I'm giving you, this explanation and understanding, can help you heal from any pain that you may be suffering, any residual guilt or regret that may be cropping up for you in that area. The tarot cards for where the moon and the sun are. The moon is at 21 degrees in Capricorn, which is the 4 of Pentacles. And this card talks all about relinquishing control. You can see there's a lot of control in this card, a lot of Capricornians sort of clamping down and holding on to what it is that we have and not relinquishing power. You know, really that's what this card really holds dear. It's sort of, it's almost like a anxious cramp or something like that. We must buckle down and not lose what it is that we have. We can't lose our marbles, we can't lose our this, that, the other. We've got to hang on to this. So this is what you're being invited to let go of at the full moon in regard to your soul contracts, your VIPs of life. The sun is at 21 degrees of Cancer right now, which is a moment of meditation. So this would remind us, this light is being shone our boundaries. So you're not being invited to harbour any more emotional investment at the moment. You're not being invited to take on more labour in that world, in that emotional space. You're being invited to rest and to meditate and to sit gently in the moment. And in that moment, let go of what needs to be shed in these relationships. So it's an interesting coupling here that's happening, and it's going to prove really beneficial. And if you can master that centeredness, if you can do breath work, if you can work on your core and your center as the shedding begins to happen, as the Plutonian energy, as the tables are being flipped in a lot of ways, as the match is being struck and things are being set fire to in order to grow again. Hold your center of meditation and really recognize your Cancerian ability, because this is your first house, remember? This is your core, your soul purpose, what it is that you know and what it is that you're here to provide and to show other people. So how is this centeredness going to aid you in releasing what is no longer working in these intimate bonds? How can you let go of what you need to let go of in this space? There's another difficult aspect. There's a T-square happening yet again, but we're kind of used to at this point, I imagine. But this time the T-square is happening with Chiron, which is an asteroid rather than a major planet. However, the effect of Chiron and its importance in astrology is undeniable. It's an asteroid that was discovered in 1977 and was given a name from the Greek tradition. And astrologers have worked with this energy and have mapped it in individual natal charts and also in its progression around the zodiac in terms of affecting consciousness as we know it. And the effects are undeniable. So Chiron, the myth, is that of the wounded healer. So Chiron was a centaur, half human, half horse, and centaurs had a reputation for being quite excessive and animalistic and drunk and kind of carnal in that way. Chiron was from the pantheon. Chiron had parents who were gods, and so Chiron was immortal and spent their time learning the ways of the earth, learning herbalism and healing others. Chiron was a sage, one to go and confess to as well. Chiron was attacked and mortally wounded by Hercules. But because of the immortality, Chiron couldn't die and spent a long time pleading to the gods to let go of this life force, to be relinquished from the burden of the pain. They eventually acquiesced and let him go, and they installed the astrological body, the cosmic grouping of stars of Sagittarius, in Chiron's honor. So in a lot of ways, Sagittarius is like a memorial to Chiron. That's the macro. The micro, how we relate this to our experience, is where in life do our wounds lay that are so buried deep within that we can't heal them ourselves, that we need help. We need the help of others to explore these and to work through them and work with them. The Chiron wound shows up differently in each natal chart because of the house system, and Chiron takes about 50 years to go around the zodiac, so we all have different zodiac signs that represent our personal Chiron wound. Right now Chiron's in Aries, forming that square with the sun and the moon. The Aries Chiron wound is the wound of the self, the absolute soul center, lack of access or awareness of soul purpose, of that absolute inability to have confidence in our own abilities. Aries is your 10th house, Cancer. So Aries rules your career and your public roles, your public perception. So there's something about where you lack confidence, or you lack the confidence of the courage of your convictions, really. There's a wound that's happening here in your public self that is very difficult to heal for you at this time, that is being highlighted, that is being pressurized to be looked at and possibly released at this full moon. So when you think about your relationships, also keep in mind your public perception, your career, your vocation, and what wounds lay there for you, Cancer. What is happening in that space for you that is so difficult for you to reconcile and that you can help others, and you can see other people's beauty and talents, and you can really recognize what they need and bolster them. But where are you lacking that support? And how can this full moon act as a pressure point to release some of that shame? That would be the astrology, I think, of this full moon. It's a really powerful one, and as I said, like a full moon conjunct Pluto does not happen very often. So let's go with it. Let's really take the offer, and let's invite and engage the opportunity to be born again in some way from this lunation. It'll stem from your relationships. It'll affect your public perception, and hopefully your relationship with yourself. So that's the astrology. Now I'm going to pull you some tarot to get some little mini messages of support and of encouragement, maybe a little reading that you can take off with you at this full moon. Watch it again at the full moon. If you're watching this early, I'll publish it a week before, but on the evening, watch it again and see what comes up, see what synchronicities align here. But Spirit, how can we help Cancer tonight? How can we give them what they need? What do they need? The Three of Cups. That's reconciliation. That's a day with the girls. That's friendship. That's celebration. Maybe you'll be celebrating on this full moon. Maybe you'll be coming together with folks you've not seen for a long time. Perhaps some seventh house people. The Ace of Cups. It's an offer from Spirit. It's a brand new emotional beginning. Oh, and I got 3 here. I got the King of Cups in reverse, the Two of Pentacles, and I got the King of Pentacles. Through reconciliation, through reaching out to those that you long for, if what I've been saying to you today has triggered something in you, there's a longing for some 7th house people that don't exist in that periphery at the moment, you're going to experience an offer. You're going to experience a communion. You're going to balance whatever emotional instability that might crop up from that, whatever big feelings may arise from this reconciliation, but you're going to balance that with a great sense of groundedness. You know, it's a Capricorn full moon, so that is about grounding. That's an earth sign, so it's practical. That's how you relate to your loved ones, is on the earthly plane, Cancer. That's what you do. Your intimate relationships, the people that you care about the most, there's a tangibility there. Your self, your soul purpose is emotion. Your relationships, what you can learn from these relationships is that groundedness, that sense of material. So balance whatever flares of emotional instability that might come out from this reunion. Balance it out, that's okay. There's going to be some stuff to say, and there's going to be some emotions to feel, and you probably will feel a bit destable. Remember the 4 of Cups, remember this space of meditation, remember those boundaries. I think is probably a really important thing to hold on to during all of this as you're experiencing it. But don't let this, you won't let this get away. This is from Spirit, this is from the moon, I'd say. I would anticipate, Cancer, that this full moon is going to be a vital one for you. It's going to be a really lovely time of reconnect, and it's going to be a lovely time of release and forgiveness. That's what I really sense. So balance it out. Balance out the emotion with the physical practicality. Feel grounded in these relationships. That's your purpose in this life. That's your sole purpose, is to weather the storm and to acquaint yourself and ground yourself in positive, regenerative, restorative relationships. So don't feel lonely. Don't feel lonely anymore. At this full moon, let's have this as a little celebration and a moment that you won't feel lonely. You may feel lonely. You may feel lonely again, everything's a cycle. But it's going to be different. This is the Plutonian energy. There's a shift here. Where are your abandonment issues keeping you back? And how can we let them free? That's your reading, Cancer. That's your full moon in Capricorn reading. Oh, lovely. Well, and look at that. Sand's just about gone. Much love to you, my darling Cancers. I love you so much. If you'd like me to read your birth chart, I'd be ready and able. You can go over to umaruby.com, go to the readings page, and you can have a look at the offerings that I have and book yourself a place. Or you can head to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby if you'd like to throw some tips in the tip jar for my troubles. I love you very much. And I'll be speaking to you again in 2 weeks at the new moon in Leo. So until then, I love you. Take care. Bye.